likes this guy named Patrick. He's kinda pathetic, so tragic. Makes the most with the little that he has. Chasing aliens and UFOs. He lost his marbles, everyone knows. Makes the most with the little that he has. Like a paper bag, he won't last. Some say he's sensational, others say he's delusional, but most agree he fucking sucks. Some say he's not the sharpest tool, others say he's just a tool, but most agree he fucking sucks. He goddamn for sure fucking sucks. No one likes this guy named Patrick. Super pathetic, dramatic, kinda believes in magic. Magic makes the most with the little that he has. Chasing aliens and UFOs. What's next? The moon is a hoax. Well, I kinda believe in that one myself. Anyway, back to the song. Makes the most with the little that he has. Like a paper bag, he won't last, but most agree he fucking sucks. Some say he's sensational, others say he's delusional, but most agree he fucking sucks. Some say he's not the sharpest tool, others say he's just a tool, but most agree he fucking sucks. He goddamn for sure fucking sucks. I got a bombshell for you. Patrick sucks and that it sucks. I got a bombshell for you. Patrick sucks and that it sucks. I got a bombshell for you. Patrick sucks and that it sucks. I got a bombshell for you. Patrick sucks and that it sucks. I got a
Yo, let's go, y'all. All right. Let's we're gonna do a little audio check before we get going here. How am I sounding? Am I sounding good? Am I sounding hot? Am I sounding too low? Too slow? Let me know in the comments if the audio is good, and then we'll just jump into this. Okay, I'm getting to sound good. All right, that's good news. All right, we got a lot to cover today. I pulled up a bunch of different clips and different stories and stuff that we're going to go over, and we'll just take it one step at a time. We're going to do some live betting. So this is kind of a new series that I'm going to be doing only on live streams. No particular dates. I'll just randomly do them, and I'm just calling it the State of UFO Disclosure. Because I'm not smart enough to think of a better name. And I'll tell you what we're going to start with is, an old school tradition. I used to do these on all my live streams. Tell me where you are in the world in the live chat, and I'm going to shout it out. I used to do that a lot. I saw some people asking if I was still doing that. So let's do that. Let's have some fun and go back to the old school times. So I see Netherlands. I saw Devon, UK earlier. So see, we got worldwide, baby. We got Utah. That's what I'm talking about. Barcelona, vámonos. Yo también estoy en España, en Extremadura. So shout out Barcelona. Scotland, UK, Detroit, Nashville, Newcastle. Oh shit. San Diego, Ontario. Wow, look at this, guys. Norfolk, Victoria, Victorville, Boston area, Brazil. Wisconsin, Kentucky, Scotland, New Orleans, Alabama, NYC, baby. Washington, Finland, beautiful. Rio de Janeiro. Look at this. Greece, Sweden. What the fuck? Australia. Y'all, we are worldwide, baby. Ireland, Palmdale, New Jersey, Phoenix, Denmark, Yorkshire. I'll just say that. Vancouver, Ohio, Tennessee, Plymouth, UK, Connecticut, baby. Love it. AZ, Arizona. We got Swiss, um, Rhode Island. Holy shit. Toronto, Phoenix, Nottingham. Look at this, y'all. Come on. We're a worldwide little operation here. Antarctica. I mean, even there. Come on, somebody put Mars. Anaheim. Love it. We got Jeremy Corbell in the chat now. What the hell's going on here, y'all? Something is brewing, y'all. Mississippi, San Diego. Y'all, I love this so much. This is so cool. Shout out to Jeremy in the chat. Shout out to everyone from all over the world. Literally, y'all can see that. Global vetting. That is right. I love that, man. That is so, so cool. So real quick, I need to give a shout out right here. Check out this this hoodie I'm wearing, y'all. Okay, see this? Invisible. Well, it's backwards. Okay, God damn it. Invisible College. This is from Chris Ramsey. He sent this to me. It's a hoodie. You can get these now. He just released them, and I have to say, it's pretty sweet. It's look at this. It's got the logo on. I mean, the quality of this thing is amazing. I'm super jealous that my merch isn't like this. So thank you to Chris Ramsey for inspiring me. Today I started working on brand new merch. I found a new store with better quality, high quality materials, and I'm gonna be doing some merch myself, better stuff, way cooler stuff. So I'll be presenting that. It's probably going to take me a couple months because I've got to get samples, and I'm going to do the whole thing. I'm going to go through the whole process and make sure that I get high quality stuff and I'm able to present it to y'all. But shout out to Chris Ramsey for sending me this badass Invisible College. What a great idea. Hoodie. Again, the quality is unreal. Okay, look. So you got this boom. I'm actually wearing his old school merch right here, Majestic 12. You can see it. Look, it's even falling apart. Man, I wore the hell out of this thing last summer shooting my documentary, and I wear it a lot. I love this hat. So check out Area 52's brand new merch, and you'll be able to get that stuff. So yeah, y'all, look, let's jump into this stuff. Yeah, Jeremy Corbell, could you do an interview with Patrick? Yeah, Jeremy. Yeah. Okay. That's what I said. That's what I said too. Trust me. I'm gonna keep pestering him till we get something going. It will happen one day. I know it. So, let's see here. Real quick, guys, I want to play something. I want to play a trailer for my upcoming documentary that's coming out this summer. I actually spent the last really 2-3 weeks really banging down on the distribution for this thing, and we finally started the process and submitting everything and all that stuff. So we found a distributor that we're going to use to get it to the different streaming sites that we want, and so I'm very excited that that's going to be coming out this summer, and just to celebrate that that's happening. I'm going to play the trailer for the documentary so we can, get all excited about it. So let's do that. I'm going to play it, and then we'll come back here. Okay, I did it wrong. Here we go, y'all.
For years, mankind has explored hidden powers of the mind. Most dismissed it as science fiction.
It is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what we're doing believing in all this nonsense over all these years.
But what if they were wrong? What if you could summon UFOs? With your mind. What if you had the power inside of you? All this time, would you try it? Would you be afraid? Or would you just go for it?
Because these are going nuts.
They're going off.
And you interact with them, you form a bond. Oh no, you can't record any of this.
Turn it off for a second.
Controversial, huh? That's my middle name.
It's like it turned on and got brighter for 1 second.
Yeah.
I know there's aliens inside there.
Did you see that, Patrick? Oh my god.
Did you hear that? Something is in the bushes right behind you, dude.
I'm ready to see something. If you're willing to show it to me, I'm open. I just want to see what you are. And I look up, and there are these orange lights that are just drifting above the tree line.
I just don't even know what I'm doing with my life.
I love that last part. Oh man, so funny. Yes, I had several of those "what am I doing with my life" moments while filming that. If you noticed at the very end, you hear a voice talking right over the where it says psionics. I don't know if you caught that, but that is Clint Weldon from Night Shift. He makes an appearance in the documentary. And he told a great story, and he provided some great footage, actually. So really excited for y'all to see that. It's not like any UFO documentary maybe you've ever seen, to be honest with you. I've seen a lot of UFO documentaries. I haven't seen one like this. It's not your typical talking head documentary, right? That tries to sell you one way or the other on the topic. There's no big secrets, it's nothing like that. It's a journey, my journey, looking into psionics over the course of months. I went all the way from Miami, Florida, all the way to the Mojave Desert in southern Utah, and everything in between. I even shot in Spain. So really excited for everyone to see that. And there's so much more that's in it that's not in that trailer. I mean, there's so much. And excitingly enough, Nick Pope is in it, and really sad that he passed away recently. So being able for him being a part of the documentary, I got to interview him at Contact, and there's a small portion of our interview that's in the documentary. So shout out to Nick Pope and his family. I hope they're doing well. It's a lot to go through. Nick was an amazing person, and to be honest, little backstory. Nick was the very first person I ever. Oh, shiza, y'all. Let's see if this works. I don't know. I don't know.
Whoa.
What up, Chris?
Hey, I don't know why my camera's down. Give me a sec.
All right, do you think? You're good. So I'll just tell the story real quick. Nick was the very first person I ever reached out to, my old podcast, Lone Star Plate, to try to get a UFO interview. So going back full circle. You're on, Chris. Look at that. Holy cow, man.
What's up?
This is quite that. Look at, come on, bro.
Dude, love the drip.
Dude, look at it everywhere.
Rocking it all. I appreciate it. Looks good on you.
Even my underwear, but I can't show that on the live stream. So I tried. I tried, but I got shut down. Just kidding.
Sorry about
No,
the.
man,
I don't have like a professional mic set up here. This is my editing bay here, but I thought I'd hop on real quick to say what's up.
Bro, look at my setup. Are you kidding?
You got a more professional setup than I do today, Patrick.
I don't think so, bro. I'm just at the house here, just loosely throwing this together. No, man, I appreciate it. I know you're super busy and have a lot going on, so I appreciate you you jumping on, man. I want to say shout out, great interview with Bob Lazar. I know you sat on that for a year. How hard was that to do?
Yeah, as a content creator, you're definitely excited to get one of the UFO goats and to make that put that up online. But I it was part of the agreement I made with Bob because of the fact that this movie was still being made, and I didn't know I was going to sit on it for that long because, as you know, there was initially this push for summer 2025. So I thought a few months. Cool, not a problem, and it kept getting pushed. But I was like, it's one of those things that doesn't matter, and I would rather wait. And then, once we got to that point, Bob had found out, I guess him and Joe Rogan talk as well, and so I didn't want to. I wanted that to be the first episode out there, and I think it was the right choice. Being as that one episode that went out, got like 70 million views or whatever, and I think a lot of people were anticipating a follow up to that, and so I didn't want to put it out at the same time, and so kind of like talked to Luigi. I said, look, we're just going to wait a week after it's out, and then we'll put it out after that.
No, that was really cool of you, man. Since it was a year ago, is there like more you would have asked in this past year? Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
It's been a year,
100%, 100%. And the thing is too, is like, I didn't want to, I have talked to Bob since, and, there might be something down the line eventually. But in regards to that, I really wanted to keep it about the project. I was really curious about, the making of the movie. And I'm sure a lot of people wanted to sort of have answers on what that was like for him. And so it was a fresh lens with which we could ask Bob questions. It wasn't the same old, things, but, I have since personally just like asked a lot of other burning questions to Bob and gotten some answers there, and hopefully in the future that'll be something that gets out there.
Oh, that's cool, man. No, that's great. I personally love the film. I thought it was great. I can see why it took so long. When you see all the graphics and everything that's put into it and the amount of detail, it's like, okay, this is what took so long to
yeah. I think they had to they did everything in Unreal 5 initially, and then had to transfer everything over to Blender, which was quite time consuming. So that was like the main crux of why it took so long. And then after that, there was just, I think just putting a movie of this scale out onto a platform with distributors and whatnot. Like I was privy to a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, which I'm sure Luigi's going to end up talking about, but there's so much, there's like mounds of paperwork that I never have to deal with, thankfully, and you don't either. If we're doing this YouTube stuff, we decide when we hit upload, we can just, that's the way it is. And when it comes to distribution, it's way complicated, and I'm just really happy that I get to post on YouTube instead.
Yeah, I got to, I talked with Luigi, and, after the interview, I talked to him a little bit about distribution because I have my documentary coming out this summer, and I've been dealing with the same thing for months and just trying to find the right distributor. They all have different rules and pros and cons, and this guy'll screw you, and this team won't, and this one will let you do this and this, that. it may not even show up on this platform or this or that. It's a nightmare, dude. I agree.
Yeah.
YouTube's like, upload, publish, let's go.
I know. Yeah. And everyone's looking to get a piece of that pie, right? So no matter
what it is, dude,
who you end up going with, you're getting screwed somewhere down the line. It's just like who's doing the least amount of screwing is who you're looking for.
Yeah. And there's a lot of it's either upfront cost or let me spread out the cost.
Yeah.
Right. But depending on how much you make and, you're contractually obligated for a couple of, whatever, just boring.
Yeah, whatever.
Boring shit that I don't have to really deal with. And I'm like, why am I in these meetings? I got nothing to do with this, man. I don't really, I don't care. So where is it at? Where can I go see it? Anyway, yeah. What were some of your just final thoughts about the film? Seeing it all come together, finally seeing it, hit the big screen, man.
I got to watch the process of it for, I guess, over a year now that I've been, sort of hanging out with Luigi. Luigi's like local, like we don't live too far from one another. So we've been keeping in touch a lot and just hanging out. And so I get these periodic updates and everything, but to see the entire movie come together coherently the way that they told it was really nice. And there is another documentary about Bob, obviously, Area 51 Flying Saucers with Jeremy Corbell. And they're both, I think they both touch on some of the core elements that are pretty similar. But I think with
Jeremy's in the chat, by the way, just so you know.
What's that?
I said Jeremy's in the chat, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Jeremy's a homie. Yeah. It's fine. The difference I think that people appreciate out of the two is that one, with Jeremy, it was like the first look we got at Bob since like I don't know how long, and that was
my first look. Period. I didn't know about Bob Lazar. That was
it's how a lot of people found out about it. It catapulted him into the limelight once again. Ever since he came out initially. And since then, so much has happened between when Jeremy made that movie and now if we're looking at like the congressional stuff or we're looking at just more witnesses coming out or even the topic not being so difficult to talk about publicly. Like it's just become more accepted. And so I found this is like a coherent refresher on Bob, for everyone tuning in today and hopefully introducing Bob to a brand new audience. I think that is especially the younger generation. It's so hard to tap into the younger people watching. I'm sure your demographics are much of the same as mine, where it's a lot older. That probably has to do with just kids not really caring. They got things to worry about and they'll get to the existentialism later in life, which is fine. But I do think it's important that, we at least appeal to them a little bit. So hopefully, that being on their feeds and on some TikTok reels, they start getting interested and, in the future, it breeds a whole new wave of UFO or sort of, phenomenon enthusiasts.
Yeah, well said. I think the films are dramatically different. And I think they tell a different story and like they're good accompaniment. You know what I mean? You can watch one and watch the other and don't feel like you watched the same thing at all. In fact, that's what's kind of cool about it. There are two different approaches to a story.
Yeah.
And there's more coming out, right, from Luigi. That's what he was saying on their website, wearenotalone.com. Y'all, please check that out. I saw there's already some episodes up, actually, of more content, fuller interviews, extended stuff. So I think that's kind of cool, too, that Luigi is doing that with all the footage, all the shit that he does and the VR.
Yeah, and it's going to, I think it's going to have a lot more than just like Bob's stuff, but I think also he's got this repository of just hundreds of hours with Bob, with Gene Huff, with, George, with all these different archival stuff that they use that, I remember the day that Luigi said to me and he goes, we got the Edward Teller, sort of talk at Los Alamos. And I go, what do you mean? And he goes, yeah, like we had to reach out to the University of Los Alamos. They had to like do this whole thing. They had to then digitize this thing. And eventually they got the talk. You know, Bob said he was at an Ed Teller seminar and everybody was like, no, it never happened. They not only found the talk, they found his planner and his journal exactly on those dates that Bob said he was there. And so, you know, it's all this stuff as he was making the documentary, he was getting pulled out from these archival sort of, you know, places. And now he's got this repository on wearenotalone.com to, you know, throw everything out there. And if researchers or whoever wants to have a gander, they can do that.
Yeah, for sure. What do you, how much of the VR have you seen?
I've only seen the initial sort of stuff that he did you see something at last year, Contact in the Desert? Did he put on the helmet? That's about as much as I've seen as well, just different scenes of that. And I don't know where they're at with, you know, turning that into a full-on experience. I expect that that's the next project that he'll be working on.
Yeah, for sure. No, I wish I told him that. I think and I told him this last year at Contact too, when we were swimming alone in the pool, which sounds dirtier than it is, but I would like to see every sort of story told that way, where you could put on the Travis Walton one, the, you know, Kingman, Roswell. Can you imagine putting on the VR and like going through each one of these scenarios? I think would just be, I mean, I know it's a lot of work, but I'm just saying that would be sick.
Yeah, and hopefully, you know, as we get closer to or, you know, just have more of this emergent technology, we'll be able to create those stories a lot easier. I'm sure there's like an exponential curve, even from the beginning of this movie being made to the end of it, on how much easier things got. You know what I mean? And so the next movie and the next one after that are just going to get even more, you know, sort of streamlined.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And look, you know, I'm not trying to bring down the energy here. Okay, I just have to be honest, you know, about my coverage of Bob Lazar and this and that. But I do. This is what I really think. I think no matter whether you believe Bob or not, the documentary is super entertaining and so well put together. And that's what I tell people, because you know, I personally don't, but I love the story, and I think Luigi put so much time and effort into it, and I can see the work and the dedication and the passion, and I know that we need more people like that, more people like yourself who are just so passionate about this topic, who really put in ungodly amounts of effort and work. Something I'm just not capable of, to be honest with you. And yeah, I want to see more stuff like that, to be honest with you, more efforts like that. I respect someone who gets behind something, believes in it, and puts in the effort to show the world something that they believe in and are passionate about. And at that point, it's out of your hands. You know, you can't really control where it goes from there. But man, the work that he put into this thing is it's on the, you know when they say like, oh, you can see the money. You know, you watch a big budget film, like, oh, I can see the money on the screen. That's how I feel about this documentary. You can see the effort, the money, the time, the passion that went into this on the screen. And that's not easy to do.
Yeah. And, you know, Bob's story has been captivating people's curiosity for, you know, 3 decades now. And it's one of those stories that for many people, many researchers in the topic, that help bring us into this topic initially. You know, so he has been consistently inspiring people to pursue, at the very least, their own curiosity into this phenomenon, and continues to do that despite, you know, criticism, and despite, you know, he's not getting rich off this. And so all of these things, you know, I will say one thing when interviewing him, because I know that, you know, I'll never be able to convince people of anything, and that's not my goal either. And Bob, you know, I'll speak for him here, because it's not his goal either. He doesn't care about convincing people. He just wants to tell his story and be left alone.
Sure.
But I got to see something in his eyes that very few get to see. You know, I got to spend some one-on-one time with it, and that's all I wanted. And I think it's what a lot of people want, because,
Sure.
Other than being taken out there and seeing a UFO, how else are you going to know if this is real, And,
Yeah.
When I'm face to face with someone and I get to look into their soul, as they're telling me these things, you can pick up on cues. Anyone can. You don't have to be a mentalist to see things. And, I saw regret, deep, 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 deep regret in his eyes. And this regret was for coming forward. And it wasn't based on regret, for criticism or hatred that he suffered throughout this, or any fallout that he had, but it was regret that he could no longer be a part of a project that would essentially, in his eyes, be the most important thing humanity's ever worked on. And every day he lives with that regret. You can tell that when you look at him. And so regardless of what he was shown, he fully believes that what he was shown was alien craft. And that regret he takes with him. And that's something you can only, and I hope that came through in the interview a little bit, that people got a glimpse of that, because I think I was able to, get us both to a spot where we felt a little more open and vulnerable in terms of just speaking about how we feel. And that, I think, shined through on the interview I did. And I'm really happy with that, because hopefully some people out there, who are on the fence, get to see that from at least Bob's perspective and how he feels about it. And that for me, is a big, is I guess helps raise my conviction level exponentially with his story.
I mean, dude, you're a great interviewer, and you've always put out great interviews, so that doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah, I mean, this is a tough topic. I go back and forth every day, man, to be honest with you, of, this is all fucking bullshit, to, oh my God, I'm really excited about this thing or the story, and I'm all over the place. And maybe because I'm just so into it, that can happen. But, it's you mentioning that about seeing something in Bob's eyes and this sort of thing. I heard Luigi say the same thing, and I've heard Joe Rogan say the same thing. And to me, that's a threshold that I'll just never be able to meet. I'm never going to be able to meet Bob and hang out with him and have that opportunity. So it becomes really hard for me to have that experience, right? So I just have to base it off of interviews but again, to me, it doesn't really matter. I take a lot of these stories the same way, right? How am I supposed to really know one way or the other what's going on? You know what I mean?
That's a good point. And allowing your personal level of conviction on this topic to fluctuate is the healthiest thing that you can do, and not get so caught up in belief or disbelief or any of these binary concepts, and just kind of allowing yourself to say, hey, I'm a little higher today than I was on this chart than I was yesterday, or I'm a little lower today because of this story that came out. And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to commit to saying, this is true, this is not true. A silly example would be if I could tell you, Australia, I believe it's real. And that sounds insane. But until I go there, I literally would be wrong in saying I know it's real. But I'm as close to knowing as one can get without going.
Yeah.
But I could say I believe it's real. Now that sounds insane, but that is the proper sort of way to address it if you haven't been. And I know that sounds insane to a lot of people. They're going to go, of course it's real. I mean, I have Australian friends. I have pictures of Australia. I have all the evidence in the world that Australia exists. But until I set foot in Australia, I can't know for sure, right? And it's a silly example, but it's kind of how I feel about all this as well, in that it's much healthier to just live in this suspended state of fluctuating sort of conviction, rather than committing yourself and have an egg on your face at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, what I preach, I want to say that what I always say in my videos is just do whatever you want. It's a personal journey. Go at this however you want. Don't be ashamed to believe any story. Right? Don't be shamed by that, because I'm not one of these people to shame believers in a story. If I don't believe it, who cares? You know, it's just I'm one person. But if you believe it, I'll go for it. Absolutely, I totally get it. And if you don't believe it, great. Like it's kind of all together. And like you said, it's just life. You kind of just fluctuate and go up and down on all kinds of things. And a lot of it has to do just with our normal lives kind of impeding on that as well, right? Like I live a regular life outside of this. So of course it's all going to kind of play together. What's the weather like? How's, things with the wife, whatever, right? Did I have enough glasses of wine? Am I feeling good right now? There's a lot that that gets into it, but at the end of the day, I'm still passionate about this topic and what's going on. And to be fair, making my documentary, it makes me want to do more things like that, like get out in the field and really test things on my own and have some experiences to kind of have I don't want to say more informed opinion, but for lack of a better term, a more informed opinion about it.
Definitely. I think it's important to get out there, boots on the ground, try things for yourself. I say that about a lot of things. And I think that should be, especially in today's day and age where we spend most of our time chatting or being in front of a screen, get out there, and get some binoculars or get like a satellite app and see what's floating around in the sky yourself, and do all these things. But last thing you want to do, is pigeonhole yourself into a belief system that you can't know. Right. I do have to bounce, Patrick. It is,
of course, please.
Yeah, I got to go back to editing. I know it's Sunday and I should not be sitting here in front of a screen myself, but I got next week's episode to prepare.
I get it. Any preview here for the vetted audience of what this is?
I mean, it's going to be next week's just going to be a read through. So we're looking at some really interesting case. I purchased a bunch of ephemera or paraphernalia from a UFO auction a while back, and among that, there were a bunch of
pictures and all that. I remember that. Yeah.
And there's a set of 3 photos that have this UFO being sort of chased by these F-16s, what look like military jets, and kind of like not unlike the Calvine, but except it was an 88 in Cabo Rojo in Puerto Rico. And there's a whole story that goes with that, and it involves an abduction, and it's a crazy, crazy story about this unlikely abductee who is now turned into a doomsday prepper because of what he was shown on board. And so it's a very interesting story. It's got some photo evidence, and we're going to be reading through that this Friday.
Great job, dude. Man, keep up the good work. Thank you so much for everything you do, man, and this community. I know I clip out a lot of your stuff and talk about it, so I appreciate all the hard work that you put into this. Everyone does, dude. Everyone loves you and what you do, and your merch is kick-ass. You jumped on too late for me to say, but I was saying you inspired me, dude, to finally get my good merch going. So I signed up and I started designing actually today. It's going to take me a couple months because sampling and I want to make sure I do it right.
Of course, yes, do it right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and I appreciate you, Patrick. I think what you're doing, is a service to a lot of people who want to know what's going on and don't have the time to watch, all the podcasts all the time. So, I tune into a lot of these clips as well, even if they're not about me. I'm a fan. I think you're doing a good job, and people out there watching, don't let it fool you just because Patrick's putting up a clip of mine and talking about it. There's a lot of work that goes into uploading in the consistency and the quantity at the rate that you do it is really staggering, and it does take effort, and it does have a toll on you mentally at the end of the day. I know that from experience. So I'm always here to encourage you and say keep it up. Congrats on the 100K as well.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, I hope to be around your number one day. I'm not gonna, I'm not giving up million. That's the next goal, baby. You gotta have goals. So all right, awesome, man. Thank you so much for taking the time, brother. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody watching. Peace out.
Peace. All right, y'all. Look at Chris. Thank you to Chris for jumping in. That was so cool of him to jump in and hang out with us, y'all. Yeah, again, go check out his merch, y'all. Invisible College. Like I said, the quality is unreal. I mean that. It's unreal. Yeah, he definitely inspired me because the merch I got now, it sucks. Okay, it sucks. If you bought something, I'm sorry. But I am putting together some badass new stuff, so that's gonna be sick. I think it's important. I think it's important to have good quality. And that's why I wore even though it's hot right now here, I had to wear the hoodie since he sent it to me. That was nice of him. He sent it to me all the way here in Spain. So yeah, I didn't want to say anything about Chris coming on because I wasn't sure if he was going to come on, and I didn't want to disappoint anybody. Plus, I didn't want to pressure him. I just said, hey man, if you can come on, that'd be cool. If not, don't worry about it. Yeah, I know you're busy. And I just told him yesterday, y'all. So that's the kind of guy Chris is. He took time out of his day. He doesn't have to do it. He's busy editing, and he took time to do that and come on, and that was really cool of him to do that. And look, he just gifted 20 vetted memberships. Jesus, this guy, dude. Okay, he's amazing. So some of y'all are gonna get to be members of vetted thanks to Chris. So look, let's jump into some stories, y'all, that we have about everything that's going on, right? There's a bunch of stuff that's just kind of falling through the gaps, if you will. And you know what? Actually, what we'll start with is this real quick. We got some super chats. Let me do these, guys. People sending some chats. Let me go over these real quick. But then I'm gonna play the trailer for the Bob Lazar interview that Chris did, so y'all can check that out. We got Pug here. Thank you, Pug. Can't wait for your doc, Patrick. Cheers to not trying to prove something. Yeah, just win in. You'll see. I think people are gonna be happy with how I approach the documentary. It's just how I approach Vetted. But I didn't direct it and I didn't edit it, so that's something to keep in mind. But I was very pleased with how it came out. I did film it all. I did film it all, and I presented, right? So I'm out there. It's my thing. Anyway, Fleischer, thank you, Fleischer. You're the man. You work so hard, Patrick. Appreciate the grind. Wishing you continued success. Congrats on 100K. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate you, dude, and all your support. I mean that. Charlie Stewart, your documentary looks awesome. As for state of disclosure, I think we're just getting stuck in the mud with all the smoke and mirrors. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it, Charlie. You're not alone. You're not alone. Look at that. We got some new members. Jesse gifted one better membership. That was very kind of you, Jesse. Thank you so much for doing that. He's following up Chris there. Got to pay it forward. That's what I'm talking about, Jesse. Good on you, brother. All right. So look, let me bring this up. So again, this is a little trailer that Chris released. Let's see. Tell me I saved this thing. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, so Chris released a little trailer of his interview, right, that he did with Bob Lazar, and you heard him talk a little bit about that. So let me play the trailer. So if y'all haven't checked it out yet, go check it out. Again, this is what I always say about Bob, and I said it to Chris, right? I don't think, whether you believe him or not, I think they're interesting interviews, and I'm always going to watch a Chris Ramsey interview, to be honest, because he's such a great interviewer and he has such a genuine passion for this topic, and you can see that come through. So I always want to see how he's going to approach a particular person, whether I believe that person or not. Just like I watched the Joe Rogan one with Bob Lazar. I appreciate who they are as interviewers, so I want to see how they approach it. And as always, Chris did a great job. All right, let's play it, y'all.
Well, there's several, actually 9 flying saucers, flying discs that are out there of extraterrestrial origin.
People always said, well, how did you feel? How did you feel when you first looked at the craft? And it's not excitement. It's an ominous feeling. It's just we're so used to something else. It's like, people say, well, that must have been so cool. No, it was not cool at all. It's like I actually wanted to go back out. It's a really creepy feeling in there. Galileo was the project I was involved in that dealt with the power and propulsion system of the craft. This is where they talked about reverse engineering extraterrestrial equipment. This is when I really realized, okay, we are reverse engineering something that some other entities made. This is where it became real for me. And if they have a machine that is producing its own gravitational field, they really want to know how to make more of those.
Do you ever wish you could forget what you saw?
Oh, no, not at all. No. No, I want to see it again. I want to know more about everything there.
If you could ask somebody who worked at S4 right now, right? If you could talk to them right now, what's something you'd ask?
What did you find out? Where did we go from there? I mean, tell me anything.
Yeah.
Tell me, how was the power generated? How did the components communicate to each other? What range did they work at? Just tell me anything. Fill in any blank at all. It's like having a crossword puzzle with nothing in it. Just please put a letter anywhere and I'd be happy. He rotates the emitter further than he did before, and a little black dot, a little ball forms there. And as I walked out under the craft, I couldn't see the craft. As I got closer to it, the craft just turned into sky. What I was seeing was the light bending around the craft. Imagine if you could control that, right? What you could do.
If you could have taken one small item from the hangar with you, what would it be?
From the hangar.
Or from the lab.
That's kind of a trick question there. Boy, I just don't want to get into that.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Yep.
I mean, actually, to answer the question, I may have already done that.
Bum, bum, bum. All right. So look, the last thing I'm going to say about Bob, and then we're going to move on. Look, I never want to make any decision for anybody. Everyone should just believe whatever they want. But what I do think is important is that all the information comes out so that you can make the most informed decision. And so even though I may not believe Bob, based on all the information that I've seen, I in no way judge people who do believe Bob based on the information they've seen. I think that's important to give people room to go on this journey however they want. You know what I mean? And that's why I like Chris and respect Chris a lot, because he doesn't judge me for that kind of stuff, and a lot of people in this community do. If you don't believe what they believe, they hate you. I mean, they literally hate you. And I respect that about Chris. And Jeremy, who was in here earlier, Jeremy Corbell, same way. He doesn't judge me for what I believe or don't believe, or criticize or don't criticize. And I like that. I think we all need room to, grow and approach this topic however we want. And I think we should all have the room to make our own decisions on what it is. So the only advice I would give to people is, if somebody believes Bob's story, let them. There's no need to judge him or call him an idiot or whatever. And if someone doesn't, same thing. There's no need to judge him or call him an idiot. Let people think whatever they want. And just because you have your feeling doesn't mean you're right. Right? Whatever it is, we should give ourselves room to, again, approach this however we want. And I think that's the key. So anyway, like I said, that's why I respect Chris and Jeremy so much for those reasons, and other people in this community who I can speak with, and I'm allowed that runway, and I give them that runway, and I think that's really crucial. So I have a lot of respect for both of those guys, for Chris and for Jeremy, for what they do. Both passionate guys who approach their topic in their own way and do what they think is right for this topic. How can you not respect that, in my opinion? You know, they put in the work. You know, you can criticize them all you want, and I know I've done my fair share of criticism, and it comes my way too, but it just comes with the territory. But at the end of the day, I respect them immensely, to be honest with you. So I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool, and I always want stories to be told. That's why I loved Jeremy's documentary that he did on Bob Lazar. I loved Luigi's documentary that he did on Bob Lazar. I love all the work Chris does, and you know, huge fan of what they do. But I have my own opinion. One, I'm Latin, y'all, so I got tengo opiniones. Okay, I got opinions. It's just I'm a passionate person. It comes with the territory, and you know, it takes a lot to convince me of something. That's just what it is. I have a threshold maybe higher than most people, and that's okay. Because when I do get there, if that happens, I hope it does one day, because nobody wants to believe more than me, I promise you. Then I'll be celebrating. That will be it. So yeah, really cool that Chris came on, and I see Jeremy is still in the chat, so thank you to Jeremy for hanging out with us today as well. Look, okay, how do I switch? Oh, okay. Let's go over. This is an interesting story. Okay. This is kind of an interesting story. Okay, I guess it does involve Bob Lazar, but not. You'll see what I mean. And he's out right now, so I think that's just there's a lot of attention on him. But okay, now hang on a second. Don't freak out. This is Logan Paul. You may or may not be familiar with him. He's a wrestler now, but he's an influencer, podcaster, you know, one of these guys, right? He's actually been heavily involved with UFOs for a minute, to be honest with you. He was there with the Skywatcher interview with Jake Barber and Jesse Michaels, because Jesse knows the Paul brothers from back in the day. And a long time ago, you know what? I'm going to play the clip and then we'll talk about it.
Guess who I spoke with? The man, the myth, the legend, Bob Lazar. The man who worked at Area 51 and personally reverse engineered alien craft. And guess what? I showed him the alleged alien UFO video footage that I have in my possession.
Yeah, and it was exactly like that.
UFO enthusiasts have been waiting for this moment for years. They said, Logan, show us the footage, show us the footage. I showed Bob Lazar the footage. And I did it on my friend Jesse Michaels' show. It's called American Alchemy. I think it's coming out sometime in the next week or so. But this alien shit's getting serious. Guess who I spoke with? The man, the myth, the legend, Bob Lazar.
I'm muted. Okay, so you may be wondering, what the hell is Logan Paul talking about? Well, so Logan Paul interviewed James Fox one time, and I don't think it was actually in the interview. It could have been mentioned, but off screen, off camera, James Fox told Logan Paul about a video. Okay, a video that he had seen that was, James Fox has talked about this video before on Joe Rogan, another place, but basically this video that James Fox saw, that James Fox described as the best, I think he described it, if I'm not mistaken, because I've covered this a bit, the best UFO video he's ever seen. And it basically told the story of two young gentlemen who went out in the desert near Area 51, okay, in the early 90s. And on this sort of adventure, this sort of Blair Witch style video, right? Because it's just them with a camcorder. Hey, what's up? We're here, you know, this, that. They film a UFO. Okay. And James Fox saw this video and he was blown away by the video of this UFO because it allegedly shows like it's over the car, they're inside the car, it's at night, you can see this glowing craft, all this stuff's happening, right? Well, how he had seen it was a guy named Chuck Clark, and Chuck Clark has a, I would say, rather deep connection to the area surrounding Area 51 and Area 51 himself. I'm sure going back to the 80s, but definitely in the 90s. And there's a whole story there I'm not going to get into, but he essentially has this footage, right, that he claims isn't his, right? And he shows James Fox this footage, and James Fox for years tries to buy it and get this footage, but Chuck Clark won't sell it to him, won't give it to him. And so he tells Logan Paul about it. Logan Paul decides to drive out to the middle of the desert to Chuck Clark's house and see this video for himself. Now, then we're talking VHS, right? Old school VHS. And apparently Logan Paul goes to Chuck Clark's house and he watches the video. And he offers, I think, I want to say like $100,000. Not joking, like $100,000 in cash. Could be more. Could be 50 grand, but I think it's about 100 grand. It could be more in cash. Give me that video. And Chuck Clark won't sell it. So Logan Paul leaves. But Logan Paul was sneaky because when he went into Chuck Clark's house, he had a pinhole camera and he recorded the footage. So he recorded the video, right, through this pinhole camera that he was wearing secretly. And that's the footage that Logan Paul has. And he's talked about the footage many times on his podcast, Impulsive. And I've made a few videos about it. And so apparently, because everyone wanted him to release this footage. Okay, let's see it. Let's see this stuff. But he never did. Because he said it wasn't that good. He said it was kind of, whatever. But he would always say one thing positive about it, which is that the way the craft moved, he thought was interesting based on the type of technology that was available when they made this video, right? That like to fake that would have been like, how would they have faked this? Essentially, right? One of those type of scenarios. So everyone's been wondering what happened to that footage. And there was a rumor for a while that it was going to be in some Netflix show. That never happened. Anyway, so now it comes back up again. Logan Paul shows it to Bob Lazar on Jesse Michaels' channel. Now, what I don't know is if we're going to get to see the footage in Jesse Michaels' interview or just their reaction to the footage. Because there was some conversation around the ownership of the video, which is why Logan Paul wasn't going to share it, because he, I don't want to say illegally recorded it, but he recorded it without Chuck Clark's consent, right? And, if there's some legalities there, right? Probably, I don't know. But, and Chuck Clark always said he never owned it. That's why he could never sell it himself to James Fox, right? Now, who owned it? I guess the two guys that filmed it. And there's some stories, rumors that those guys worked for an effects house out of LA, like a studio doing movie effects. I don't know if that's true, or one of them did, or a friend or something, it connected back to LA and that. So I don't know, will we get to see that footage? Now, I have allegedly seen screenshots of the video. Okay. I've seen screenshots that someone allegedly said are from the video, and they show a craft, an orange craft. Like it takes up the whole frame of the screenshot essentially. I saw multiple screenshots, like 10 of them. So I don't know. I'm going to be making a deep dive video about this this week. kind of going over that and showing you guys the screenshots and just the different clips of Logan Paul talking about and kind of telling the whole story like I just did here, but in a more produced way, right? Of course. So I don't know. Very interesting. But I gotta be honest, that's the video I've wanted to see for years since I heard about it. Man, I want to see that thing. Now I will say that the screenshots aren't that exciting, but again, they're stills, they're screenshots. So, you know, I need to see the whole thing. It could be interesting. I mean, again, James Fox described it as like the best video he'd ever seen. I like James Fox, but he can also be very passionate, and I'm a passionate person too. And I know how my passion can overtake me, you know, where I'm describing something and it's maybe not that exciting, but for me it is. I can't help but be passionate about something that I'm excited about. So it'd just be cool if everyone got to see it and see what it's about. But no one can find those two guys that were in the video. But yeah, man, I want to see it for sure. So we'll have to wait and see. And I don't know when that Jesse Michaels video is coming out. That was a few days ago that video got released. So maybe this week coming up, we'll get to see this interview with Bob Lazar and this video that Logan Paul showed. So wait and see, y'all. All right. Let's see here. What else do I have? Oh, okay. All right, this should be interesting. Let me see here. If I can do this, right. Okay. Bear with me.
Blessing or is releasing it risky business?
Okay. Have you ever heard of the Bigfoot Disclosure Diaries? It's a guy on Twitter that does AI Bigfoot video. You'll see. Let me just play this. He made one of me recently. He's made quite a few of me, but he makes these videos and they're hilarious. So let's have a little fun. Look at that. That's me looking like James Bond. Y'all, man, that's having a good hair day. That's me out drinking some wine, eating some tapas, celebrating Semana Santa here in Spain with the family. And yeah, so he made this video. Let's go.
What's up, guys? Foot here with Tom Cruise's Body Double. So, Pat, what's the fucking holdup with your documentary? Have the Phonics people given it their blessing, or is releasing it risky business? What's up, guys? Foot here with Tom Cruise's Body Double.
Not risky business. I just got that. Yeah. So I just thought that was funny. He makes these videos. They're kind of hilarious. I put a photo up. That's what he does. He'll take a photo if you put it up, and then he makes this whole video out of it. Anyway, follow him on Twitter. Bigfoot Disclosure Diaries. They're really funny videos. You gotta have a laugh here, y'all. Right. This is an interesting story. It involves Tom DeLonge. Involves Tom DeLonge and an alien photo. All right, pay attention, y'all. Okay, this is. What is this? Oh, 9 Inch Nails. Elon? I guess it's Elon Rubin. Let's just watch the video. And we'll go from there. Yowzers.
Speaking about the alien, I got a funny story for you.
Tell me.
So when my wife and I got married, we finished the ceremony. Everyone kind of goes to the reception or whatever. And she and I go up to the suite or whatever for her to kind of like get out of the wedding dress and having some champagne or whatever. And we finally get down to the reception room. And the first two people I see are Tom and Trent. And Tom's a really tall guy. And he's kind of like just hovering over Trent. This phone's out. And I know how this goes. So, hey, check this out. And I'm thinking, I'm like, what is he possibly showing him right now? And then I go straight up to him, like, hey guys, how's it going? Tom's like, dude, congratulations. I'll see you in a bit. I'm gonna get a drink. And then I was like, Trent, what's going on? He's like, that dude just showed me a dead alien. So it's like, nobody else could conduct themselves in that way and it be normal, but he's just so unapologetically him. It's infectious. It's great.
That's
you know?
amazing.
Yeah. I'll always remember that. funny guy.
That's a great pull quote.
Yeah. But he and I, we get along great. And
How funny is that? So I guess at this guy's wedding, Tom DeLonge shows Trent Reznor a picture of an alien body. Have we seen that picture? Why can't that be released? Let's go, y'all. That would be very cool if we could get that released. I wonder what it is, where he got the picture. I hope not Lou Elizondo. That wouldn't be good. Let's see here. And I do want to say quickly, I saw that Lou Elizondo got in a motorcycle accident and he was quite severely injured, to be honest with you. And I do wish him and his family well, and Lou a safe recovery, because UFOs and aliens is one thing, but we're talking real life here. He got in an accident. He's a family man. He's married. He has kids. I have compassion. I hope he has a very safe recovery from that, because it did look bad, y'all. So I haven't always had the nicest things to say about him, but I can put that aside. I'm a human being, and he's a human being, and that is not something I would ever wish on anyone. Period. So I do wish him and his family, and him especially, a safe recovery for sure. So get better so I can rag on you more, Lou. But definitely get better, man. Because that is just not something people should have to go through. All right, real quick. Let's see. I'm really looking forward to the first annual vetted roundtable. All the head honchos in one place, building the picture in yet more detail might be fun. The first annual vetted roundtable. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, yeah, okay. We get the Knights of the Round Table together. I don't know how or what I would do. Who would I invite? Who would we invite to the vetted roundtable? That's an interesting suggestion, to be honest with you. That is an interesting. A lot of people just don't like talking to me. To be honest with you, there's still clearly some people that do. But there's a lot of people that just don't like talking to me, because I'm not all in on the UFO thing, right? I have my doubts, and I can be quite skeptical. And my show's called Vetted, so I do spend a lot of time pointing out red flags, just because that's the name of the show. That's the kind of show that I run. Maybe I should start another channel called Not Vetted, where I just get to tell the stories. But that's kind of just what I do. But I am very positive about a lot of things and that sort of thing. But there's just some people that just don't want to talk to me because they don't think I'm good for disclosure. I think I'm great for disclosure. I think everyone is good for disclosure, in the sense that we should have all kinds of opinions, voices, thoughts, concerns. I think that's the best way to get there, to be honest with you. That's why I appreciate people like Jeremy, George, Chris, Jesse, all these guys that put in work to do what they do. There's so many more people I'm forgetting. Clint from Night Shift, pardon me, Pavel, Psychoactivo, Josh from Polarity, to name a few guys. I know there's more I'm missing, and I'm sorry. I appreciate everyone's voice and how they approach this and what they think about it. I think that's important to do that. But yeah, that would be cool to do a little better roundtable. Shout out to Jared Johnson, just sitting in the $2 with nothing. That's what I'm talking about. That's my style right there. Just dropping, you know what I mean? Just boom, nothing, blank. Thank you. You're the man. Love it. You know what? Let's get these comments back up on stage, y'all. Let's get these comments. So, all right, we got more here. We got the more. Let's hear from Timber Chat. Who here's a fan of Timber Chat? I am. I'm a Southern guy. Grew up in Texas. I appreciate the Southern folks. And Timber Chat from the great state of Tennessee. I like his attitude about things. And he recently did an interview that I'm going to bring up here. He's been out talking a lot, actually. But let's watch this clip and then we'll talk about it.
There's credible proof that there's something else that's going on, and the military and all these alphabet agencies, they'll publicly say one day they don't exist. This is all baloney. But then they're spending tens of millions, maybe billions of your dollars researching this. It's not about little green men or flying saucers, ma'am. And you as a member of the media, it shouldn't be. It should be about what are we spending this money on? Why is there not transparency? Where is this money going? And that should be the discussion. And I've talked to the president. He's going to have to ask some tough questions of these agencies. And why am I in a meeting with somebody who tells me the president is on a need-to-know basis? That's a very chilling statement to make, that someone has that much power, an unelected bureaucrat. Sometimes it's some little punk with a man bun who's got a smart aleck attitude, and you're sitting there with military professionals, and you can just read them that they are disgusted with this little punk that has authority over them. And that should be something you should be discussing. But the money is going into something. Quit telling me they don't exist. If they don't exist, then dadgummit, quit looking for them.
Let's go over, chat. Bringing the passion. I'm always going to respect the passion, right? Like that from Burchett. I love that. Yeah, the man bun comment was hilarious. Oh man, I worked with some chefs that had man buns. That was a big thing. They put like a pencil or a chopstick back there to hold it together. Look, I don't judge. I'm in Spain too, so I see people with man buns as well. I used to have long hair, which actually was the only time when I first started vetted, I had long hair. I never had long hair in my entire life, so it was kind of interesting that people saw me that way. But I never did the man bun. I'd be lying if I didn't say maybe I tried it a couple times in the mirror to see what it looked like, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Anyway. What do y'all think about that? I think Burchett's right. If they're spending money, let's find out what's going on. The idea that there aren't UAP is just false. Right? That argument I can't get behind. Clearly there are UAP. There are unidentified anomalous phenomena. Right. There are things flying around that we don't know what they are. That is without a doubt true, in my opinion. In my opinion, I believe that to be true, and I think it goes back centuries, if I'm being honest, maybe thousands of years potentially. So what is it? All right, now it's become more complicated when we ourselves have things flying around. Right. This disclosure would have been a lot easier before we started putting things in the sky, in my opinion. Right. But people were worried about, living, diseases, some of those things that are kind of important, freedom, abolishing slavery, these are some important things that needed to happen. So I get it. But yeah, disclosure would have been a lot easier before we started putting things in the sky, which is what makes Beatrice Villarreal's work so interesting, right? I don't know if you guys have followed any of that, but I do find that stuff to be rather interesting. She's a scientist who put in some work and got some interesting results, and I'm starting to see some other scientists who have replicated some of her work and even expanded on some of her work. So I think that's very promising. What could come of that, to be honest with you. I think that's kind of exciting. And I think that's really where disclosure is going to come from, maybe potentially. It's funny. We could get disclosure from, like, nothing seems to be working, but people are working really hard. And they feel like they're chipping away slowly, like, right, and all these different efforts that are happening. And what could happen one day is just they all go off at the same time, which is kind of how life is, right? You feel like nothing's working, and then all of a sudden everything's working. So I could see that happening where everything just starts popping off all at once, and we're just getting disclosure from all different kinds of places, and it's all validating itself. I'm there, man. I yearn for that day, to be honest with you. I really do. I yearn for that day. And then people say, Patrick, what are you going to do when that happens? You won't have a job. I say, what? What are you talking? I go like this. What? What? Of course I'll have a job. Kidding me? The job will just be starting. If disclosure happens, what the hell? Are you kidding me? I mean, we'll be going into overtime. The job will just be beginning at that point. There will be so much to do. It will be crazy. At this point, a lot of us feel like we're just telling the same stories over and over again, right? That's the case. Disclosure would be phenomenal for business. Essentially, yeah, business would be booming, man. If we got disclosure, it would be super exciting. I mean, you'd have anybody and everybody jumping in to find out what's going on, and it'd be crazy. And I'd be all for it, my man. And my ladies out there, letters, thank you. What else we got here? I had another. Oh, okay. This is an interesting clip, y'all. Okay, bear with me. This is. Let's see what people think about this. I have to admit, you know what? Not gonna poison the water here. Let me just show it to you, and then we'll talk about it.
Many of us are, all four of us are familiar with very, very credible claims coming from people in a position to know, who say they know, that there has been a contact event, a very explicit, very manifest, obvious contact event, nothing that was liminal or elusive, that, something like a landing and an interaction. To me, if that happened, that means most likely there was an interaction with something quite like us that does have political interests, that does have probably has law, probably has ethics, may be very different from us, in which there's a great asymmetry of power and technology. And I don't know how you narrate that. I mean, while telling the truth. And I don't know how you narrate it the way it's been narrated to us, as if it just happened once. I have a very hard time believing that if that happened once, it didn't happen several times. But the version we've all heard is that it happened once. And what's implausible to me is not that it happened; it's that it would happen one single time, and then the interaction stops. Unless you really had no control of the interaction, you certainly would be attempting to have further interactions, further conversation, further discussion.
Okay, so what is he saying here? Let me read you the summary. So it says, has the U.S. made contact with aliens? Expert speaks out. Dr. Peter Skafish, executive director, confirmed rumors that the U.S. had allegedly made contact with ET representatives, according to his sources. So I'm very skeptical of this kind of stuff. Just being honest. Okay, I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying, what? 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 What kind of discussions are we having with aliens? What does that even look like? What are we talking about? How? We know their language now? Well, we can communicate? Or they have a translator? Do they make sounds? Do they write it out? Is it telepathic? Are they recorded? How long? How many? Are there representatives of a government, maybe the U.S. government, making agreements on our behalf? I mean, what? This is crazy, right? There's a lot there, right? And what are they saying? How do we know we can trust what they're saying? How do you confirm that you're talking to extraterrestrials or interdimensional, whatever they are, right? Seems odd. I don't know. I just don't That stuff is really hard for me to believe. Now, I'm not saying it's any crazier than any other story that's out there, because all the stories are crazy to me. I don't one doesn't really seem more crazy than the other. But sources saying, yeah, we got agreements, and then okay, what? I mean, what? You know, I mean, I don't know. Could it be true? Well, of course, it could be true. I find it highly unlikely, but you know, what do I know? I've seen zero evidence that points to that. Just sources, right? Saying this stuff. And just hypothetically speaking, if it were true, I don't like it. I don't like it. I think if we're making contact with other non-human intelligence, humanity should be involved. Sorry, that is not something that should be kept hidden. One thing is the knowledge that we're not alone. Another thing is we're talking with them and we're having back and forth conversations. Because again, what if agreements are being made or something? You know, that's insane to me. Humanity should be a part of that conversation if that's happening. And you know, as a fun thought experiment, it is fun to think about what that would look like, right? What kind of conversation would be had and what's there? Is it like you show up with bagels and coffee, right? Is there, I've said this before, this is old school. Is there catering? Right, that's an old school callback. You know, what's going on? What do they bring their version of bagels and coffee? I just don't know. And who do you choose for that conversation? You know, Bill, they asked for you. Bill, get in there. What am I gonna say? I don't know. Well, just get in there, figure it out. Okay. You know, I like to imagine maybe it's like Arrival, right? That movie Arrival. Great film, great look into how that may, you know, feel like and what that might be like. And then presented in a way I'd never thought of. So cool. What a great film and great thought. And, you know, I would imagine it could be something similar to that. All right. Let's see. How far are we in? Okay. Okay. Let's see here.
There's credible proof.
Let me. Oh, okay. Let's show one last clip and then we're going to get into comments from y'all. Okay. So, one more clip and then again, let's go over some comments from you guys. But let me play a clip from, I don't know if you heard about this, but there's I actually don't know who this is. Oh, I'll show you. She's a country music artist. So, country music artist Kacey Musgraves filmed 3 orb UFO that followed her plane from Arkansas to Tennessee. All right, so I guess he tells the story here. I actually have not seen this. I bookmarked it and then I actually didn't even get a chance to watch it. So I am going to go full screen so you can see the video better. And then let's talk.
So I just got off a plane. I flew from Fort Worth to Nashville. It was me and one of my managers, Bobby. And we just had the craziest fucking orb UFO experience. He saw it with me. This is not the first time I've seen many crazy things. I mean, literally, keep looking up. I've seen fire burning in the sky, things that I can't explain. So yeah, this is not the first time, but we just watched these orbs. There was 3 of them. I noticed them. I'm a noticer. I'm always noticing things, but I was about to lay down and take a nap and I saw these lights that caught my eye that just didn't look normal. And I watched them for a minute and they were definitely like trailing each other, moving really. Anyways, they were about 50,000 feet up, probably. We watched them for maybe like 45 minutes. I have videos. I'm going to post them. Yeah, it looks like I filmed them on a fucking toaster, but that's the quality. That's what we're working with. I have an iPhone 17. So like, but it was just hard to focus because they were far off and it's night time. But like, these orbs were not moving like any craft that we can control. They were intermittently coming and going, forming triangle patterns. They were kind of an orangish color. Sometimes they would get extremely bright and change color, change size. The craziest thing is, so they followed us from about Little Rock area. That's when I noticed them, all the way to Nashville. And we landed, and Bobby and I were like, oh my God, like this was insane. The pilots come back. Anyway, the pilots, come back, open the door, whatever. And we're like, did y'all just see something weird? And they're like, 3 orbs, off in the sky. And we were like, yeah. And both pilots were laughing kind of, and they were like, yeah, we've seen these every single night. And all the other pilots are seeing them too. And nobody knows what they are. And one of the pilots said, yeah, I was in New York last night and I saw him. And the other pilot said, yeah, and I was in Dallas and I saw him also. So yeah, shit is weird, but I'm here for it. I am open to it. I'm here for it. But yeah, they were like changing direction with us. They were following the plane. So yeah. Like I said, this is only one of many, many, many very strange, unexplainable things that I have seen. It's been happening for years. No idea what it is. But is anyone else out there? Are y'all seeing stuff? We live in this time where now we don't know what's real. You know what I mean? So I'll post my video. And again, the quality is total shit, but I'm surprised I even was able to catch it. But yeah, you could have the thing is you could have the best, most high quality footage of something and no one would believe it anyway. So anyway, I keep it weird, y'all. So I just made it back home and I'm of course like, holy shit, like how am I gonna sleep? I just saw another one. So is anyone
Okay, so very interesting. Okay,
So I just got off.
Very excited by this, and of course, let's see. Let me bring this up. So Mick West tweeted out that these were Starlink Horizon flares, and they were even able to track with the plane and everything and all of that, and that's what he thinks that they saw were Starlink flares. Now I know some in the comments will be like, okay, Mick West, gosh, stop. Look, I like Mick West. I've interviewed him plenty of times. Get it, but it's probably what they are. Could it be something else? I guess, but if they're able to simulate and find out exactly, it lines up perfectly, could be. I think it's important to recognize when something is prosaic and just a normal thing in the sky, so you can get to the good evidence, right, of UAP flying around. Why focus on something that's just proven to be Starlink? Why would you just double down on that, right? It doesn't make any sense to me. But from Kacey's perspective, it's a personal experience, so it's going to maybe take a little bit more, right? I get it. I totally get it from her perspective. And I think she even tweeted out, I saw that she went after Mick West's mom. Was like, if you look closely, you could see Bigfoot riding your mom, Mick West. Damn. That was uncalled for. You never bring anybody's mom into it. But I get it. She, it's a personal experience for her, and no one likes to be told that their personal experience that they found to be this majestic thing may not be that majestic. Again, it makes it difficult when we're putting up so much stuff in the sky. If you were to look at how many Starlink satellites are up there every night that go up, all kinds of shit that's just up there and horizon flares and all this stuff, it's insanity how much stuff we have in the sky. Of course, people are going to mistake them for UFOs, flying around. It just makes sense. So I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't know what's going on, but I'm glad people share them. Right? I'm glad people share those videos and tell their experience. That we shouldn't shame people for that, right? And to be fair, Mick West was never shaming her for sharing it. Be like, you idiot! How could you not know? He's just like, I think it's this. I don't see anything wrong with that. If someone's going, I think it's aliens, and someone's going, I think it's Starlink. Why are any two suggestions for what it is any less viable? Right? Right? If you're not getting mad at someone saying it's aliens, is it really any crazier to think it's Starlink flares? You telling me that's less crazy? Or more crazy, sorry? That doesn't make any sense to me. I never understand that when people get so mad if someone suggests it's a bird or Starlink or satellite or something. When people get mad at that, how could you suggest it's an alien spaceship? Okay, calm down. Like, everyone's allowed their opinion of what they think a particular video or something is. I never understand that. Like, who cares? Why do you care so much what someone else thinks of what something is? If you think it's an alien spaceship, go for it. Why would you care if someone else thinks it's not? That sounds crazy to me. I just don't get that. All right. Oh, let's see the super chat here. This looks appropriate, apropos here. This is from Photon. Oh my gosh, dude, I'm getting so old. Y'all need my glasses. Photon Impress. She says, former SpaceX principal engineer here. I hope you're not lying. Can't tell you how many times people mistake a Starlink flare, Falcon launch, or Dragon re-entry for UAP. It happens all the time. Thank you for saying that. And I really hope you are a former SpaceX principal engineer, because I agree. It happens a lot. In fact, every time there's a launch or something, people are always mistaking it for aliens, right? And to be fair, I get it. People just aren't aware of what's going on, and so many people want to believe that can cloud your judgment a little bit, and I get it, right? People are just excited about the topic and want to see something exciting, want to have their own experience to share. So I get it. But yes, I believe a lot of people mistake this stuff for UAP. So thank you for saying that, and I agree. I also know someone that works at SpaceX, and they've told me the same thing several times. Going back a long time ago, actually, before I was ever started vetted. But, and when I went out and filmed my documentary Psionics, I saw a lot of satellites with night vision goggles that people were like, UFO, streaker, UFO. I'm like, those are satellites. You know what I mean? It's just, those are satellites. If you put on night vision goggles and you look up at the sky, I mean, it looks like you're looking in a a microscope, a bacteria or something moving, there's so much up in the night sky if you look up with night vision goggles. Good ones, like military grade. So that's what I did. I looked through military grade night vision goggles up at the sky a lot. And there was so much up there. It's insane. Not only the stars, but just all the satellite, all the shit flying around, So it's just something to be aware of. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean there aren't things flying around we aren't aware of what it is, but there's nothing wrong with eliminating. I mean, that's what we should be pushing for. If we figure something out, great. That's one less thing to worry about, to take away from the haystack. Why would we want to keep the haystack big if we're trying to find this needle? Right? We would want to eliminate things so we could get closer and closer, make the haystack smaller. We're more likely to see the needle. To me, that just makes the most sense. So I get it. And thank you for posting that, Photon Impress. Really, really appreciate that. 100%. Thank you so much. And props to what you do and the team over at SpaceX. That's a lot of work. You're clearly smarter than any of us here, myself included, the most included. In fact, I couldn't engineer the letter X, much less anything at SpaceX. UK G85 says, check Discord. I shared a couple of Reddit posts. Okay. Word. Oh, we all know how much they love Reddit on Reddit. That's sarcasm. I am hated on Reddit. It's kind of funny, to be honest with you. This is a good comment. Of course, there's other life in the universe. The question is, are they traveling here? Agreed. I mean, are we alone in the universe? That sounds so crazy to me. That's the craziest theory I could ever think of, actually. We're alone. That seems so crazy to me. Yes, exactly. But are we alone on this planet? That's the bigger question to ask. Not are we alone? Are we alone on this planet? And I agree. All right, y'all. Let's just jump into chat questions. I'm gonna roll out for the next 26 minutes. We're gonna go till, what is it? It's 11 o'clock for me, but it'll be 5 Eastern USA time. So we're gonna go till 5 Eastern. Have you seen? Oh, good Lord, Bilawal Sidhu's Worldview? If not, check it out. Never heard of it, but I will look into that. I don't know what that is at all. Clearly, I'm can't even get the name right. So, all right, y'all, put any questions you have in the chat. Let's go over it. Heiser, you're supposed to be celebrating your wife's birthday. Shout out to Heiser and his wife, celebrating Heiser's wife's birthday. Happy birthday to her. Happy birthday to Miss Soze. Hope you're having a good birthday. You should be off the phone, Heiser, and enjoying whatever dinner you're at, my man. Don't forget to touch grass. That's important. All right, let's see here. What's the latest on Sky? I'm assuming you mean Skywatcher. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know, and I've asked that myself. What is the latest on Skywatcher? The last I heard was that they're still rummaging through all the data and trying to parse through it and figure all that out. Data that they have, and then present that. I don't know. I think everybody's wondering that, to be honest with you. So you're not alone. I'm not going to say that name because I don't know. Geely Bagaudi is S4754. What do you think Bob took from S4? Well, he claims he took element 115. That's the claim. So there's no need to think about what Bob took. That's what he's said, I think. Jeremy Corbell says, I just want to know what you had for dinner in Spain because I am peanut butter and jealous. Well, if you must know, Jeremy, I actually cooked and I made some empanadas. Yes, we eat empanadas in Spain. I cooked up some ground beef. Got onions, yellow bell pepper, red bell pepper, green bell pepper, zucchini, mushroom, potato, lots of different little spices, a little tomate frito, which is like refined tomato sauce. You got to cook all that down, slow cook, simmer, let it cool because that's your filling now, and then you get your little empanada, little circles. Now I do buy them pre-made, okay, because they just come so perfectly here. and then you gotta, fill them. Never want to put too much because it comes out the sides, and you gotta close them. Hit it with the fork to around the sides, and then you slowly fry them about 180 degrees Celsius fryer. And they come out beautiful. Love those things, man. So just, oh my God, just a nice puff pastry. It was delicious. So I hope that didn't make you jealous, Jeremy. Yes, I eat very good here. I also just love to cook, but we do go out to eat a lot. You get just great fresh ingredients here. No too, not much fluff, just real fresh ingredients. And I like that. A lot of seafood, fish, cured meats, cheeses, but they serve a lot of fried stuff too. But I did get a chance to eat at a Michelin star restaurant the other day, and that was really good. I've eaten at two of them here. There's there's three of them in the small town that I live in Spain. There's three Michelin star restaurants here. I've eaten at two of them, and yeah, that's what I had some good wine. I spent like $700 on dinner. My God, that was a little painful, but it was well worth it. We had a good time, and sometimes you got to splurge on good food. If I'd spend money on anything, I don't buy jewelry or fancy watches or this or that. I don't do that. I do spend money on some decent clothes, but more than anything, what I spend money on is going out to eat. I love food and going out to good places and eating good food. I don't care necessarily so much about the service. I don't need waiters and front waiters and side waiters and this, coming out and doing it, and they change plates every course and silver. I don't care about that stuff. Good food, good techniques, good chefs who put in the effort to give you flavor profiles you may not have ever thought of, or flavor profiles you're familiar with but perfected. I'm all about it. I could talk about food all day, to be honest with you. I do miss talking about food. Gotta be honest. Maybe I gotta figure out a way to bring that back. Somehow to bring food back into my life, to talk about it. But I also don't want to ruin it. I also just don't want to ruin it. But great question, Jeremy. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to the Lakatsky interview you did. Great job with Lakatsky. I personally was very frustrated by that interview. I made a video about it. I get it. You tried really hard to get a lot of answers out of him, as you always have. And yeah, that's I can't imagine what I would have done differently, to be honest with you. I talk a lot of shit from here, from behind the camera, right? I'm always pointing out red flags and criticizing videos and interviews, and I get it. But at the end of the day, I don't know how differently I would be. One thing is to question how a gladiator fights in the ring, and another is to be the gladiator fighting in the ring. I think that's how the saying goes. So I'm very well aware of that. Now, I do consider myself a great interviewer. I had an interview show with Lone Star Plate before I did Vetted, and I did over 400 interviews. I like interviewing people, and I am going to get to that on Vetted, actually, putting in the work. It's going to take a while, but I'm basically, it's probably going to be well over a year, to be honest with you, but I am already pre-planning to do a sit-down interview show in person, like your Chris Ramsey, like your Jesse Michaels, like, all of the shows that are online, right? Julian Dory, Danny Jones, all these guys that do podcast interviews. I'm going to do one as well, that I am planning. I'm going to be doing it here out of Spain, but it's just trying to budget all that out, because I got to fly people out, got to have a studio. There's a lot of work that goes into that, and I want to have it all planned out, to be able to do that right. But eventually you are going to get to see me do interviews myself, and then we'll see. As much as I like to criticize, how's it going to be for me? right? Am I going to be able to step up to the plate and deliver some great interviews, right? As well. For instance, Y-Files. They got The Basement now. Great podcast, dude. AJ from the Y-Files, great podcast, dude. What a great show. Does such a good job with the interviews. I love it. It's what a great show. If y'all haven't checked that out, you should. Um, and I wish, and you know, when Jeremy and George, yeah, Jeremy, yeah, you're invited to Spain anytime, brother. I see you there. Come, I will make you some empanadas, bro, in person. Are you kidding me? Well, I'll take you out to some great places first for tapas, wine, you know, whiskey, beer, cafe, you know, all of it. Um, but I remember when Jeremy and George were doing live, not live, in-person podcast interviews when they first started Weaponized. I like that, but I get now why they have to do it online, like through Zoom. They present it the best way you can when you do it that way. To be honest with you, that's probably the best show that's streamed like that for interviews that there is about the UFO topic. Weaponized does it the best because that's really hard to do the interviews like that. When you're in person, it's a lot easier. It's really about talking over each other, right? You have to let people talk. You can't really, you know, there's just something, there's a delay a little bit and it can be hard and audio and, you know, it's really hard to present the interviews that way, but they do a good job of it. But, you know, maybe one day they'll be able to get back to in person because that would be really cool. If they did that. But again, I get their schedules. George, Jeremy, that's a lot to bring together. It's just a lot to do interviews. Scheduling, that's what it is. Scheduling, reaching out to people, finding out when the best time is, scheduling. And then if they have to travel, you got to set up flights, hotels, dinners, rides to pick them up and this and that, right? And they get all together. Then you got to have the right setup to record, cameras, different angles, a set, mics, audio, right? Editing that, clipping it, promoting it. That's a lot of work that goes into that. So I've got to plan that out properly. And I just want Vetted to grow a little bit more in this way before I launch that, to be honest with you. But I got a lot of big plans for Vetted. Slowly but surely, you know, it's happening little by little, y'all. We got a lot planned. My biggest thing right now is just getting this documentary out this summer, right? That I spent so much time on and promoting that and getting that out. And then I'll be able to work on some of the other stuff that I want to do for Vetted, you know. But my first step is just this documentary. And it seems like I haven't done anything, right? Because I've worked so hard on it for coming up on a year now. It's really been a year because I started pre-planning this time last year before I started shooting in Contact in the Desert. And, you know, all anyone's got to see is a trailer, right? But trust me, the amount of work that's gone into that. So I just can't wait for that to come out so I can feel a little relief and then start, you know, working on some other stuff. Yeah. And, you know, speaking of documentary, thank you, Jeremy. Yes, you're looking forward to the documentary. I appreciate that, man. And I think everyone's looking forward to yours as well. It's called Sleeping Dog. And that should be coming out soon. So Jeremy Corbell also has a new documentary coming out that was made about him. Again, called Sleeping Dog. I talked about it in my last video. There's a Hollywood Reporter article, pardon me, couldn't find the word, article that came out about it. So if you just Google Sleeping Dog, Jeremy Corbell on Google, it'll pop up and you can read more information about that, which is going to be really cool to see that. Again, you know, all this stuff takes a lot of effort, y'all, behind the scenes, and I get it. I'm the first to criticize, but at the end of the day, I realize how much work it takes to put this stuff out, you know, and people just don't get enough credit for how much work they put in. They just want the oh, look at that. We got breaking news here from Jeremy. The trailer releases this coming week for Sleeping Dog. Here we go, baby. And there we go. Right there. Trailer coming this week for Sleeping Dog. That's sick. I know that that took a lot of effort and a lot of time to get that out, and I respect it. It's not easy. Trust me. I have so much respect for people putting out documentaries just based on the work that we did for ours, and ours is low budget compared to everyone else. Um, it's and I shot it myself. I hate. I wish I knew how to shoot better because I was the camera guy. And I'm not a camera guy. So there's shots that are out of focus, and but we just went with it. We got cell phone footage, we got GoPro footage, we got DJI footage, we got night vision footage, we got my Lumix GH7 footage, which is a really good camera. But I just didn't know what I was doing half the time. But the director Glenn Barden really pieced together a really great story from it all, and I think it's very grounded. It's a very grounded story. That's what I like about it. It's not polished. It's in fact, I would describe it as unpolished, but in a very charming way. Because it wasn't about showing a polished story about UFOs. It was a very unpolished journey that a lot of us take in this community, right? When we start studying this topic and we get into it and we start looking into stuff, we don't have this whole setup, you know what I mean? We're just flying by the seat of our pants. Watch a thing here, read a book here, go try this, listen to this, it's all just flying at us, and we're just trying to make the most of it. That's really what this journey is me just kind of flying by the seat of my pants, like, well, I don't even know what's going on. I'm meeting this person. They're telling me this. Okay, let's go out here and experience this, and let's go try this. And this guy says there's a portal at Bradshaw Ranch. Okay, let's go check it out. This guy says he can levitate. Wait, what? Okay, let me see. Well, he can't, not today. He doesn't have the energy. Spoon bending, remote viewing, summoning orbs with our minds, seeing ancient hieroglyphs. Well, not hieroglyphs, I guess petroglyphs, like on rocks and shit that, drawn thousands of years ago. Like, just crazy. It's just such a journey. And I just filmed all of it, and interviews. It's just a crazy journey. So yes, I'm very excited for people to see it. I'm very excited for Jeremy's new trailer that's coming out this week, Sleeping Dog. I'll definitely look forward to that. We'll make a reaction to that. That'll be really cool. I can't wait to see it. I love watching all these UFO documentaries, man. And I hope I'm not stepping over my bounds, Jeremy, but I remember you telling me how the Sleeping Dog is really going to show a great behind the scenes process for how you do what you do. And I think that's really cool for people to be able to see that. I'm sure people have a lot of questions or are curious, and I know that you want to show that, and I respect that. Again, can't wait, man. I can't wait. It's definitely gonna be slicker than mine. I'd tell you that right now, because I shot ours, and it's hey, it's my first one. Mr. Knightman says, being in Spain, what is the Spanish media saying about disclosure, if anything? Any UAP hotspots that you visited that people might know? The Spanish media doesn't really talk about it, really at all, unless there's some big hearing or something. They will bring it up, but they got their own Spanish news to cover, right? Like, how much Spanish news do you see in the States? Just think of it that way, right? Spain's its own country. They cover their own news. So unless it just really breaks through globally, you don't hear about it here. But yes, it's definitely something that people are interested in here for sure. And there are, quote, UFO hotspots around here that I would say 99.9% of Americans have never heard of. And most of you listening to this, unless you from Spain, then you know about this stuff. But there's a lot of crazy stuff that's happened here over decades. Stories, hotspots, yeah, all kinds of shit. I do want to start covering some of this stuff. I do know of a local UFO hotspot here that I am going to go film at in the next, few months, that I've been planning for a while, actually. And it involves me staying overnight in some caves. So just a lot of logistics there. But I'm going to be accompanied by a local Spanishman who's going to take me out and show me a particular hotspot of UFOs. And it should be an interesting out in the field video to do. So, yeah. Very cool. Great question. Great question. All right, y'all, we got 7 minutes and I'm shutting this down. So, Lou Elizondo involvement more so. Yeah, I want to bring this up because I do want to reiterate that. I said that early in the stream, but I do want to reiterate that. Absolute prayers to him and his family, for sure. Again, we can criticize Lou all we want about his UFO presence, I guess we could say. But another thing is, hey, this is real. Okay, this is a real human being. Okay, so again, married, has kids. I have compassion for that, and I absolutely dearly do wish him well with that recovery. That's got to be scary and a lot to go through, and I do wish him and his family. So I just want to say real quick before we go, thank you to Chris Ramsey for coming on. Again, go check out his. This is his merch, y'all. Invisible College. He just sent this to me. This hoodie. And it's sick. The quality is next level, y'all. I mean that it's so good. So definitely go check out his merch and order you some. I can speak from experience. This stuff is so high quality. I'm even wearing his hat. He sent me this stuff last year. That dude don't mess around. So if you're gonna order something from him, just know that he is personally picked it out and it is of good quality, and you will not regret that decision. So definitely check that out. And of course, like Jeremy just said, Sleeping Dog trailer coming out this week. Be looking forward to that. Chris Ramsey's interview with Bob Lazar. That should be well worth checking out. Jesse Michaels got an interview with him coming out soon. And actually, I saw Jeremy also has an interview with Bob Lazar coming out. I saw him post something about that on X. Someone asked him. That's the one we want to see. Me personally, right? George, Bob, Jeremy, let's go. That's the one we want to see. That's going to be the most exciting one to me, I think, in a lot of ways, right? Because there's just a lot of history there, especially George and Nat. It goes back a long way. So, and thank you all to everyone here who showed up and hung out today. I really appreciate it. This will be my regular live stream. Again, no particular dates, we'll just throw them out every once in a while when I can. I was going to try to do them the first of the month, and this says, I'm not good with schedules just because I live a Spanish lifestyle, y'all. Okay, so schedule's not really a thing here. So I'm just doing what I can, couple times a month, once a month, just whenever. We do these. That's all I'm calling it. State of disclosure. Bring on a guest or two. Hang out, talk, chat, converse. Figure each other out. There's a lot going on. I just want to say that I respect everyone's journey in this crazy topic, and I want to thank everyone for just hanging out and getting along. The chat went great today. I really appreciate everyone's contributions. Your opinion is valid no matter what it is. Let's respect each other's opinions, whether you believe in aliens or you don't. Remember, we're all skeptics and believers, right? Because you're clearly not skeptical of every story you've ever heard, and you don't believe every story you've ever heard. So we're all skeptics and believers at the same time. Every one of us. And I think that's cool. It's something to remember. So thank you guys for hanging out today. I'm going to call it. You guys have been awesome. And, we'll see you guys on the next video. All right. I got some cool stuff coming out this week. So looking forward to all of that. All right, betters. Remember, thank you to Jeremy for hanging out in the chat with us today. That was really, really cool of Jeremy to do that. And if I didn't say it, and for Chris coming on. So, all right, betters. We'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, every day's a